Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about the zodiac sign Gemini and life. And as far as life for Gemini, Gemini is often very spirited. They often live their life to the fullest. They want to experience various things, a variety of things. They don't want to be mentally or physically stagnant. And the thing about it is their life often consists of much communication. Gemini will talk to virtually anyone, and as long as they're going to listen. And the thing about Gemini too is they may go through many changes in their life. A lot of this is attributed to their restlessness, the fact they get bored quite easily, they disdain monotony. And with me, like for example, I have a Gemini moon, so a lot of this energy is unconscious. But the fact is, I've had a number of moves in my life. Keep in mind, the moon is about our home, and then Gemini is very restless, mercurial energy, so you could do the math. Gemini is also the sign associated with short journeys, so the home life was going to consist. It seems that for me, the way it's manifested and kind of the home life is consisted of manifold short journeys, moving around a lot. And the thing about it too is that the life of Gemini, I mean, could either be filled with a manifold achievements, many achievements and wit, a plethora of accomplishments because of their quick mind. But if you take Gemini in a negative manifestation, if you take a Gemini that's more corrupt, more nefarious, they could go really completely the opposite way and use the shrewdness in order to outmaneuver the law of the system, outmaneuvering others as a means to get ahead, or to get just what they want, whether it's something monetary, what have you. They will. The thing about it is, their life, again, can be connected with a lot of communication and, in some cases, ability for prodigious literary achievements. You look at one good example is prolific writer Jack London, who has Gemini rising, and he wrote. Obviously, he's one of the most famous writers we ever had, and he had numerous literary achievements. You talk about someone else now that's not like somebody that's a novelist, but you could the late Tupac Shakur, who was a song. He was not just a singer; he was a songwriter as well. Gemini often can have a way with words that's really mind-boggling to a lot of other people that just have like average vocabularies, and Gemini often will speak with these words very fast as well. It's not just the fact they speak in a verbose manner often, but they will speak very quickly as well, and their thoughts often race ahead of others. Gemini during their life and their conversations with others will often interrupt others because their thoughts are moving often much faster than the person they're communicating with, unless they got somebody on the other end that's either Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or maybe even Mercury, somebody that's got Mercury dominant in their chart, because it's going to be tough to keep up with Gemini on a mental level. And the thing about it is also too, when you look at Gemini as well, their life can be, and when you're talking about a Gemini that's not corrupt, one that has the good intentions and the well-meaning purposes for others, they could be very good in innovations because their ideas may be often ahead of others. Now, Aquarius is the most innovative sign, I think, unequivocally, because being ruled by Uranus, the planet of innovation, and the fact that Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. But Gemini may be a close second in the innovative department because of their fast track thinking and the fact that they could think so ahead of others. It's just a matter if Gemini actually has the persistence to follow through on the plethora of ideas they have that might be very ingenious. You take example was Tim Berners-Lee, who is a Gemini sun, invented the internet. And this internet, I mean, has obviously created so much opportunity. It's been so beneficial to so many people. It's not even funny. Now, I don't remember this 100%, but it seems like if I remember right, that he actually has regrets about creating the internet for whatever reasons, and I did not look at the the art, the blog or the video, whatever, to see how he elaborated on that and what are the actual reasons why he thinks it's maybe to others' detriment now. But we understand anyway the positives and negatives of the internet, social media, social networking, so on and so forth. Now, another example of a Gemini that is somebody that during his life, well, a Gemini moon person actually was named, you might have heard of him, Louis Pasteur, who invented pasteurization. Now, in his chart, he has a Gemini moon in the 8th house of bacteria, and he invented pasteurization. And what's interesting about him too, he also had the moon in Gemini, if I remember right, at 17 degrees, which is a critical degree, and if I remember correctly, it was also a singleton, which made it more prominent and stood out more to us. So this is and another thing too. When you look at, and of course pasteurization is about the ending, trying to, I guess, eradicate or end contamination from bacteria. So this was a very monumental achievement. Now, the life of Gemini and people that are associated with Gemini certainly will not be monotonous. Gemini could be very averse and have an anathema to things that are tedious or mundane. And sadly, Gemini may often leave your life and dissipate basically into thin air, because if you become stagnant, if you become too boring for him or her, they're going to be, sadly, Gemini often will be less concerned with someone's feelings than the need that they have for their activity, for their variety. That will often take precedence over the other's emotions and feelings and how they feel about Gemini possibly leaving him or her. They are Gemini, sadly, too, is a sign, Gemini and Virgo. I've stated this in at least one other previous video, that they seem to, many will dissipate in our lives quicker than average. And it's not just because, the situations when they leave and they become bored with someone. What happens, being ruled by Mercury, Mercury is associated with the wind. Some Geminis actually pass away a lot earlier than most. You look at, was it Amy Winehouse, had a Virgo sun in Gemini Ascendant. She passed away at a relatively early age. And then another person as well. You have a Tupac Shakur, going back to him, Gemini sun. I know, and he died at like 27 or something, around 27 years old. Now, there's controversy over whether he's still alive, and I know there's a lot of speculation surrounding it, but assuming he is gone, no matter how you look at it, even if he is still alive somewhere, most people have not come into contact with him, obviously, and there's been no confirmation on that. And the thing is, you look at, and I forget her name, it was her last name, I think it was Rivera. She had drowned some months ago, and she was an actress on Glee, and she had Gemini rising, and she was a relatively young person. I think she was 33. So the thing about it is, Gemini, sadly, their life often ends a little bit earlier than ours on average, and Gemini just kind of comes and goes just like the wind. And the thing about Gemini too is that, again, going back to them, as far as how when they live their lives, it's often ones with not monotony. I guess you could say without monotony. I have a friend of mine that's a Gemini rising, and he likes to fix cars. He's very dexterous, and he's what kind of person that'll be fixing cars one minute, or he'll be doing like target practicing. I don't know what if it's target practicing, rifle shooting. The next minute, he just about variety. And Geminis during their life may do many things superficially and not follow up and learn something deeply, because they just don't have the persistence to stick with something for a protracted period. And another thing, during their life too, Gemini may either marry very late or not marry at all. A lot of this is attributed to them not wanting to be pinned down on a mental level and have a commitment. Now, Commitment can be an anathema to Gemini. Keep in mind, the zodiac sign Taurus often falls on the 12th house cusp of restrictions for Gemini in a solar or natal chart. And Taurus is ruled by Venus, which is love. Love may elude Gemini for some time. They may not want to get involved with somebody too deeply because it takes away from their ability to have their variety, whether it can be with different people, their love, their social life, or what have you. And the fear for them is that being tied down with somebody can put them in a state of trepidation because of that. Interestingly enough, some of you may have remember someone. His name is Joe Namath. He was a former NFL player, former football player, a Gemini son, and he got married. I think it was age 41. And he has a Sagittarius rising, I believe, as well. So those are two signs right there. Gemini on a mental level don't want to be pinned down, and Sagittarius on a physical one because they could be so adventurous and they just don't like to have to be stagnant as well. But and me, you know, Gemini moon, I'm 50 years old and not married. A friend of mine who, depending on time of birth, may have his sun in Gemini and his moon might be in Taurus, or he may be a Cancer sun and Gemini moon, but he has Gemini, with one way or another, in his chart, and he's like 60. He is 60 years old, and he has not married. And it's just something about not wanting to be pinned down, basically, during their life. And Gemini likes to have the ability to do if they have their variety, do manifold things, have their. It's almost like they fear that their life won't be nearly as enjoyable if they're pinned down. Aquarius is similar because Aquarius it's more for their independent and freedom, and they are and Aquarius can be very emotionally detached. Gemini can be as well, but Aquarius it's more for their basic independence and freedom. While Aquarius may not marry right away, but Gemini, a lot of it I think is just because they feel that life can become mundane and boring if they wind up being tied down to somebody. But anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.